Welcome to Medicine for the Soul. My name is Sih Yu Chen. I am a hypnotherapist and artist. How are you, everybody? It's Monday again. Monday's podcast. They are mainly for hypnotherapy. So unlike Fridays, so if you are interested in something else, you are more than welcome to check out my Friday's chit chat. So today's episode, I'm going to share with everybody about a topic called why hypnotherapy didn't work. This topic I've heard more than once, quite a few times actually, from different people. Some weren't my clients, and one was my client from her. So I would like to share with everyone about this topic. So you may be one of them, namely you could be one of those you had hypnotherapy in the past but didn't quite work. So when we talk about didn't quite work, in the sense you could be setting up a goal or something you would like to improve. However, after the sessions or the whole treatment, you didn't seem to see any positive change, or there might be a little bit, might not be as expected. So then you might start to think, oh, it didn't really quite work. Hypnotherapy, just not my thing, not my cup of tea. Maybe I should try something else or just give up. This is quite common. Many people, when they first come to therapy, any kind, and if that thing doesn't quite work, and it can easily completely crush their confidence in that or in themselves, which is quite common. So today I'm going to talk about the reason why it might not work. I cannot guarantee how do I make it work, but I can share with you what I think, what was the reason why it didn't work. Okay, so the first of first, I've got my notes here. Right. First of all, if you are a person you think, because therapy doesn't really matter, it doesn't really matter what type, they're not really just like I said in the past, it was just like walking into a supermarket and then just grab a bag or potato or bread, like easy. And to some people it's easy, to some people it's not. So I would say, think carefully, but if you are one of those who expect to have one session for everything, in the sense you have any challenge in life and you hope to improve it, however, you are thinking maybe one session will be enough, then in this case, I would say as a hypnotherapist, I would say this is unlikely to see it happen, unfortunately. To me, for example, generally ask my clients if they come to me, I say I recommend minimal of 2 sessions to start with. I'm also a therapist. I tend to do maximally 5 to 6 sessions, and that's it. And then I ask my clients to maybe give you 1 month at least a break, and to see things change, to see not miracles, but maybe we could call it miracles. See the change, because in its time, hypnotherapy is this type of therapy. It's not something you can see instant, next minute. You may see like next hour, next minute, you have minor change, but I would say it's very unlikely you're going to walk out the door and you're going to become another person. Okay, so how many numbers or sessions? It really depends. Like I say, if it's me, I would say minimal of 2 sessions. But maximally, I only do 5 to 6 sessions, depending on the issue. And then that's of it. And then I ask you to have a break for about a month before you come back to me again. So let's move on to the next topic on the list. So you might ask me, so what can I do to make it more likely to work? I would say choose carefully, very carefully before you book it. How to choose, you can go back. I've got another episode about how do we choose a suitable hypnotherapist. So you can more than welcome to listen to that one. Might give you some ideas. But today we more focus on why hypnotherapy might not work. So choose carefully in the sense, I think everybody really needs to follow your heart, use your intuition. Doesn't really matter you think you are intuitive or not. Follow your intuition if you can. Choose carefully in the sense, think about a few key factors. For example, factor 1, if this person's voice or when this person talks, do you like it? And can you accept it? Can you easily follow it? And this is one. Another factor, for example, like the way this person talks. Do you think it's comfortable enough for you to sit and work with him or her? So questions like this, ask yourself, I would say have an initial assessment plus like a quick phone call is really important. So you can hear this person's voice and see this therapist and how this therapist might suit you or not. Right, so carefully choose before you book it. However, please do give you and this therapist some flexibility, because if this is the first time you work with this therapist, you don't know each other. The hardest bit in this process really is to build rapport. How do you trust each other is really, it can take a while. It's really important, this process. Okay, so third one on my list, I'm going to talk about, do you know what? One didn't work, next one might. So it is all to do with find the right key for the door, I would say. So, for example, this is either for as a client or as a therapist. I think quite often we could well be the right key for the door, and we might also not. We could also easily be the pass-by door key, but not really for the right door. I've heard many times, like for example, a few weeks ago, I had a chat with a lady. That was a very lovely chat. She shared her son, I think. So they went through quite a number of different therapists. Talking therapy, counseling, and art therapy, and etc. So many. They just didn't work. It's not anyone's fault. It's just, just sometimes really just they were searching for the right person, the right key for the door. So eventually they found it because they found a hypnotherapist who had a treatment, quite a few sessions with her son, much improved ever since. So yeah, especially to hypnotherapists, many of us, we get frustrated, don't we, if you see clients and they don't give you very positive feedback, or they don't come back tell you, oh right, do you know what, I've been so much better, blah, blah, blah. We feel like, oh no, what's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with the process? Sometimes it's nothing wrong with either of us. I think it could well be, this is a little bit, should we say, sometimes we just need a bit of luck to find the right key. Okay, so let me move on to next on the list. I put... because this is exactly what I heard in the past more than once. Some people say, I'm non-visual, can I be hypnotized at all? Will it still work? Okay, my answer is, I would say yes. Okay, there might be other hypnotherapists out there might say unlikely, but my answer is yes because I actually dealt with this in the past. So when we talk about non-visual, we are talking about some people in the process of hypnosis, they struggle to use we call imagination, to imagine something and follow all the guidance and step by step. Okay. So just for example, one of my clients in the past, what happened to him was he admit the fact his mind drifts away quite often and very easily. So that means every time we started hypnosis, he just can't help it. He just started to think something else. So when I say, please relax, really focus on your breathing, his mind could be telling him things really, really analytical, could well be life chores that always about my work. I haven't done this. There's something on my shopping list I haven't dealt with. Lots of things and popped in and out and in and out. So this person found the hypnosis process, really hard. Also could well be he naturally found it hard to relax anyway, because some people are like that. But doesn't mean you can never relax. You can still relax. Just we need different ways to do it. So in this case, I changed the technique. So we do a lot of hypnotherapists don't know how can we work with non-visual people. So we just need to change the tactic. And it did work because these clients had a phobia issue phobia of height. Okay, so in this case, he couldn't really go up to a ladder, couldn't go anywhere high or slightly higher, even just stand on a chair or not even on a ladder. But after a few sessions, he started to test himself from work, from places. Although his phobia, I would say, after the treatment wasn't completely like a gone, disappear, but it has been improved really a lot. And remember, he is one of those non-visual type of people. Therefore, in this process, I then have more non-visual type of relaxation script, or then the way my wording, the way I say it, I change into how to really then focus on everything but his imagination, put it this way. It was quite fun to work with him. So another topic on my list today, I had this literally from another client. So she said, I had a few sessions with a hypnotherapist, but it just didn't work. Okay. So if you are one of those, you already have had the experience, but it didn't quite work. Probably this process or the outcome probably put you off somewhat. Please allow me to explain and hope to not change the way what you think and also not telling you what to do, but just some ideas for you to think about it. So this client came to me. She said she had a session with a hypnotherapist online. So what it didn't work, she did share with me. I really appreciate that, a lot of details, including like process of how this person conducted or induced the hypnosis and what he did and what he said. Here we're not going to focus on this person's technique or whatever she in her head she thinks that's why it didn't work. More of the point I'm trying to make here is Let's put in this way. Let's separate this idea into, let me do, my notes. Let's put this to, if you are a client and if you are a hypnotherapist. So if you are a client, the very, very important thing I would like to remind, like back to the very, very beginning, I say some people expect to have one session for everything. I would say, please be patient with yourself and with the therapist. Because this process really, it depends. Some people can be quite soon, some people can take longer, and you just don't know how long it's going to take for it to really see the big change. But it is changing. It's to do with how soon, okay? But no matter what, please just be patient with yourself and the therapist if you can. And if you are a client, also please be true and honest to yourself and the therapist. The more honest you are, doesn't really matter what's the issue. For example, if you have an issue about, let's say, quite common, give up smoking, be true to yourself and your therapist. If it's your idea, you want to make the change to give up smoking or to vape less, it's your idea. However, if it's pressure from either your family, your another half, from work, from whatever, or quite commonly because of your health condition, and you feel like, oh no, I'm gonna have to do something. In this case, you then let's think about this. If it's all your idea, no one else. Think about if just you. It was you saying, right, let me give up vaping. Let me give up smoking. This is me. This is what I want. Okay, start from next week. I'm gonna book it. I'm gonna start. I want to just quit it. Okay, if this is 10, okay, 10 means it's gonna work. Very likely to work very quickly and to see the change quite quickly and work quite efficiently. If it's 10. Right. Second one down, if it's from somebody else, the pressure from someone else, pressure from yourself rather than, right, I want to make this work. I want to do it. I don't care. I'm gonna give up vaping. I'm gonna cut down vaping or smoking. Compared to this one, you are getting yourself some pressure. It could be, like I said again, very important. Please listen again. From somebody else, not really what you want to do. And in this process, you could be thinking or saying, this is I want to, I need to do it. Yeah, I need to do it. I know it. Yeah, it's bad for me. Yeah. You think about, I would rate it probably 5. In this situation, I rated 5. Okay. 5 meaning 50-50. You have 50% chance to get it work, meaning to really achieve your goal. However, you also have the 50% because of being reluctant somewhere, very, very deeply in you, even though you don't want to admit it or you don't even know it, but it is there in your subconscious mind. Okay. So there is third type. Wait, not yet. Third type. Third type would be completely reluctant. If somebody else pay and ask you to do it, then I will give you probably 10 or 0. Very low chance you're gonna might still work 10% to 20%. Don't put it down to 0, okay? Bit too extreme. Still might work, but I'll be honest with you, I'm a therapist. I tell you, this is the hardest type in any therapy, I would say. If it's not really what you want, however, you are pushed to come to my door, and then you kind of, okay, right, I can sit here and just listen. It doesn't hurt. In this situation, quite often they don't open their heart, shall we say, and the subconscious mind also just wouldn't open fully for me to come in to help. So it would be really, really difficult. Also, quite likely you don't see it work at all. So up to this point, you might say, right, how about as a client? I didn't say I don't want it. Okay, I still went and I still had a session with this person. Then let's talk about the other side. Think about a hypnotherapist. Because we are, essentially we are strangers to you. You don't know me. I don't know you. So quite a lot of time we actually spend time and energy. What we're doing is building up reports. We need to trust each other first. Also, another very important thing about client is often if they don't fully believe hypnosis and hypnotherapy, then it makes it harder to work with them or get it to work properly. So I often say to my clients, trust is everything, okay? Only when you fully trust me, you trust what I'm doing and you trust what I know I'm doing, then this is likely to work. To work is not to completely from 10 to 0. It depends. It could be from 10 down to 5, 4, 3. Okay. If your goal is, for example, 10 to 0, completely give up smoking or vaping, then that's a quite strong goal. Then in this process, that also means there are a lot of work as a client. You also need to do a lot of effort. You must put into this process to make it down to completely 0. That's a lot of work and quite a lot of steps to do, not one step. Okay, so and another very, very important thing for both sides, for clients and hypnotherapists, I think everybody is, do you know what? I genuinely believe this. I think everybody is magnetic. I think we are constantly attracting people like us. So think about who you are, what type of client or therapist you might attract. My therapist might twist some therapists might twist this. No, I don't mean you are a good person or a bad person. It's not that. It's more of just, for example, the way you sound. For example, my voice, the way I talk, the way I work. Everybody is slightly different. We're all professional therapists, but the way how you work, the way how you induce, how you guide your clients, that it could well be slightly different. So that makes each therapist so unique, isn't it? It's quite different. So I think up to this point, I've given you some ideas why hypnotherapy might or might not work. Another thing to think about, I've heard a person say, actually more than one person, quite a few people in the past say to me, I'm one of those types. I've been told I'm one of those that can never be hypnotized. Yes, there may be. That might be true. There might actually be some people really cannot be hypnotized, in the sense, I would say, I don't think you can be born to be unhypnotizable. I don't think so, be honest with you. I think it's more of whether you let it work or not. If you want it to work or not, I think it's more of that. If you are a person, shall we say, to me, it's harder or easier to be hypnotized. The difference to me is mainly this. So the ones who are harder to be hypnotized, we have different ways to help them. Obviously, compared to the ones who are who can be hypnotized easily, they are those two groups of clients are quite different. But bear in mind, this is not black and white, not binary. We do have the ones sitting in the grey area, in the sense. Last thing, just to remind, we could also sometimes go into this grey area, in the sense that by the time I decide to receive hypnotherapy, to go into a session with a therapist, it's just think about where I am that day, that afternoon or that morning, online, in person, whatever. I may be holding some kind of emotions. I may be, for example, just had something really terrible happen between me, could be my family, my friend, or my another half, or my children this morning. But I come into the door this afternoon for hypnotherapy, so all my emotions, my pressure, my whatever is still there since this morning, something like that. So there are a lot of factors in this process could affect the outcome. So I call this the gray area, because sometimes with the moment you book it, you think, right, I'm gonna get this change. I want to make a change. However, between the moment you book it and to the session itself, there might be 1 week or even longer in between. And in this period of time, what could happen or what might happen? Maybe you haven't changed much what you really want to do. However, your feelings, your emotions, your physical body, your energy, your health condition, your everything else can also change in this process. That can all possibly related to the hypnotherapy outcome. So it's complicated, I know. It's quite complicated. But I would say I really enjoy this process. Like that particular client, she said she had a treatment, quite a few sessions online with another hypnotherapist, but didn't work. But I'm so happy in the end. I was the right key for her to open the door. So I helped her. I shouldn't say I'm successful, but that treatment was successful, because she did receive it, and then she found it really useful and helpful. And that's all I want to see. That made me so happy. I helped one person to build up such much healthier lifestyle and to improve a lot of things in her life. That's all I want. So that's it today. I hope you'll have a nice day. And if you're listening this in the evening, I hope you have a nice evening. If you are going to work and you're listening to this, I hope you have a nice day. That's that. See you next time.